now. He should be getting on. We're texting now. I'm assuming because he used his calendar thing that he thought we were getting on his Zoom. Yeah, so I'm calling him now. Hey, Curtis, how's it going, friend? Wonderful, wonderful. Did you get the Zoom link? Did the text come through? I sent you my Zoom link. So I always intended for us to meet over here. You just told us the however your model is. But yeah, we're on the Zoom. Is at the bottom. It should be the one right on your phone. Okay. Hold on. It has to be just about that. Yeah, absolutely. It's 974-261-1304. No, 974. Yeah, there you go. You're on mute, Curtis. There you go. Hey, my friend.
How you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Back on camera.
How's everything going?
Wow, hey, that looks like a trading studio, man.
Oh yeah. We trade full time over here.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, you remember Basil, my oldest?
Yes. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Kurt? I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Great. Hey, you got light behind you.
Yeah.
So that I can only see a shadow of you.
So Sil, turn your camera so that way the light from the basement from coming out the window, just tilt yourself. Yeah, that way, that direction. There you go.
Better?
Yeah.
Oh, much better.
Hey, how's it going this morning?
Now, Sil, I'm sorry before. Phil just told me that on Zoom, it's a way to make a virtual background if you want to not use the background that you already have. I don't know how to do it yet, but he said it's inside settings.
Okay.
Yeah, it works really slick, but you need a green screen though.
How do you get a green screen?
Yeah, it's like you can get a prop, if you will, and drape a green covering over it and put it behind you. And then you create an image. You find an image that you want projected on that screen.
Right. So
then people see you, but they also see this really gorgeous background that you want them to see.
Now, my guy, who's a scientist like yourself, he said that because he would have told me that, right? He said if you hit the button that say virtual something, it creates it itself without the green screen. I haven't done it yet, and I'm gonna actually get on a tutorial with him so he can show me how to do it. I won't use it myself because my background is okay, but Basil might want to use it for his.
So let me show you what it looks like.
Perfect.
If I don't have a green screen.
Educate me, Curtis, please. So Basil, the first person to teach me Zoom back in 2016 was Curtis. So everybody talking about it all now. My first Zoom was back in 2016 with Curtis, and nobody was talking about it.
Right.
A man ahead of his times all the time.
Yeah, it's really cool technology. Let's see what happens now.
You did kind of both. I can see your. Yeah.
What do you see? Can you see?
I see a background that's trying to get formed, but I also see your desk as well.
Right. So the green screen makes it visible for you easily.
So is the green screen a purchase? Like where do we get a green screen from?
It's a purchase. Let me, I'll bring my green screen in here and I'll show you.
Okay.
But you can see there's a bleed over right now, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take myself off camera and I'll be right back.
Perfect. I'm only thinking about it because you are dark a lot, but it makes sense now because the Joan is compensating for the light from the window. Like now you look perfect. You just are low, like your head cut off. Now you dark again because you put it back that way. There you go. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, that's better seeing you. But now, like you were looking to have them miss the basement shows, which once we'll get the background set, and then it'll be cool for you. When last time you and Deb talked? Oh, hold on. Right.
What I decided to do instead was just come into the room where I have the green screen, just brought my laptop in.
Right.
Can you see the background? You see the background?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Zoom that's why I said I'm at the X Phil why he ain't telling me about the green screen part, because his looked just like yours, a different picture, but it was just like that. So
yes,
he might have a green screen and didn't tell me that last part, but it's saying the same results. Like I think I think you would like it that way better, right, Sil?
Yes, that's nice.
Now you see I'm in Dallas now. Now here's what happens when I don't have, see there's a part of the screen where you can see where you can see.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to be 100% green screen in order for you.
I don't know why he ain't telling me that. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, that's, yeah. So I can change my location. I'm in Seattle now.
Yeah, I think Sil gonna like that.
And so I'll show you what the green. Okay, so now you're actually looking at the green screen.
Right.
As you can see.
And that's kind of what we were doing with the whiteboard, that thought process, letting the whiteboard be the background. But the green screen, let me Google it.
Your audio's breaking up.
I stopped talking.
Hey Dan, your audio was breaking up. Can you say that again?
I said I just wanted to see how much a green screen costs.
Oh yeah, they're pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
It'll be the thing about the green screen, you got to have space to keep it so that when you're not using it, it's out of the way. Or yeah, that's the cost is much lower than the management of it once you get it.
Now the actual two sides that's holding it up, because is that included or just the actual screen itself?
You certainly want to get a support stand for it.
Okay, so that's a okay. Okay, perfect. So how's things been going? The last time we talked, the world wasn't on timeout.
It's been booming since timeout. I mean, really, it's booming and creating a whole bunch of new partnerships, and people are being more and more creative. My team is moving out fast, and wow, it's been phenomenal.
So
I
you
am.
turned it right back to put the light in the background. It's dark again, still. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's been great. How about you?
Things have been pretty fun on my side. We finished reading the book, so I definitely want to. Hopefully, y'all two get a chance to kind of talk about that one generation to the next, kind of how the information went. We're building out the business credit company. Basil is working on the marketing side. So instead of us outsourcing the marketing, we're going a little bit slower and adding marketing to our own skill set, so that way we could have more control on what the outcome will be. And then I picked up a project. You know, I've been trading Forex. A friend of mine that's in the crypto world, he sent me a video on a project that's merging the home-based business industry and Forex. So it's kind of like a school for Forex, with then the business side coming on the back end, because you can refer the school to other people and then be able to grow the business that way. So because I'm already in the Forex space, it turns into, instead of me trying to have the intention of wanting other people to learn, but not having the time to hold their hand,
Yes.
I chance to put them in a self-paced learning environment, have other coaches trading live and let people follow those coaches and taking trades on demo accounts and live accounts when they're ready, following the coaches, and then me just kind of working as a school's counselor and just helping people articulate what they've been experiencing.
Right on. Wow. You know, so on the Forex and Bitcoin, or, you know, those are like foreign languages to most people.
Right. So I don't still work in crypto yet, right? We got to do some international stuff. So we're getting our crypto education now because it's necessary for what we're doing.
Yes.
But for Forex, the company is a beautiful setup because it's teaching you from kindergarten, taking you through with a comp plan attached to it, coaches to help you follow along the way. And then, like I said, because of the network marketing aspect, it's connecting me and people together. So I have, one, a vested interest in their education, but two, I can help them articulate or interpret or get a better comprehension on what the coach just showed them.
Right on. And, you know, Forex has been around a lot longer.
Yeah,
and there's
1996.
a lot more strategy and there's a lot more strategy and educational platforms for it. You know, what I've seen with the cryptocurrency is people offering opportunities to people without the education.
Right. And so I'm not doing anything in crypto right now.
Right. So I like what you're saying. Get the education up front.
Right. That's the value proposition. Now, while you're getting the education, you have the opportunity, like there's, through Sunday through Thursday, there's about 3 different trading webinars going on where people can watch the expert live taking a trade and see why they're doing what they're doing, and then just model that information. And there's one during the Asian session, one during the London session, and one during the New York session. And that's kind of the highest value. Well, the second highest value, because I believe me taking the time to articulate it to a person after they got that information was going to help their learning curve tremendously.
That is awesome. You know, I let me ask you, are you still working with iFlip?
No, and the only reason why, because I like the currency market more than I like the stock market. So I'm not doing anything in cryptocurrency. I'm not doing anything in the stock market. And that's where that divergence takes place at. So yeah, that's the answer there. Me and Randy's still super tight. The company, I believe, and what the intention is, I'd rather swim in the ocean than swim in the river. One of my mentors one time told me, "It's two ways to be the big fish: find a small pond and be bigger than everybody else, or go in the ocean where you're the smallest fish, and then go swim how the big fish swim, eat what they eat, and get to be a big fish." And that's kind of how I took the comparison between operating in the stock market, which is pretty much betting on the company's evaluation of growth or on the specific you're taking. I know you know because you're better in stocks than I am, but just from the concept of it, is you're buying a small piece of a company and then you're tied to that company's growth or lack of growth. Where in the currency market, it's kind of like watching a good football game, or like somebody that maybe do sports betting would understand, because you're seeing two currencies kind of fighting each other on a chart, and you're picking who you think going to win in that moment of time. So it just fits for that part of my brain, which is how to invest long term. Well, to be able to. So when I'm talking to people, because I work to be a banker, right? I work always to make the distinction when I'm talking to Basil from being a consumer to a producer to a banker. I wrote the book about it. So on the banking side, which real estate ties into, right? Real estate's the security, right? To notes. That's the illiquid side of banking. There's an asset or a lien on something, and the money goes in and it doesn't come out right away, right? Kind of like the real estate, if you're a landlord, you're kind of getting dividends for the asset. Where the currency trade takes me 180 degrees out and puts me on the pure liquid side of banking. It's the commerce between central banks and then governments and then large corporations, which actually creates the Forex market.
Yes.
So what I do is called speculating on that activity, but from a business perspective, it then gets us on the liquid side being trading, and then on the illiquid side being real estate and mortgage notes.
Very interesting. So what has happened with the Forex market during this COVID-19?
For a short period of time, so there's something called a spread, right?
Yes.
Spread is what you pay the broker to actually make the trade. In
Okay.
layman's terms, I call it still my Uber cost to get to where I want to go, right? So if you want to go one place to another, you pay Uber, you get to where you want to get to. So for me to place a trade, I call the spread that Uber costs for me.
Yes.
The Uber costs got bigger for that week.
Okay.
So a spread that was normally 2 pips turned into 16 pips, and then it went to 8 pips. Now it's back to 2 pips.
Interesting.
So because there's two currencies moving against each other, it's like a company can crash and then like whose stock fell to the floor? Well, I can imagine and I haven't seen it, but I can the movie industry. If you have AMC stock, you might be in trouble right now. Things like that. So I didn't want to attach myself to the growth or lack of growth of a company.
Right.
So currency always are going to fluctuate because the two countries always got different stuff going on.
So have you seen huge movement?
Absolutely.
Between country currencies that is different from pre-COVID-19?
Yes. So the pound yen normally moves about 140 pips a day. During the crisis, it turned into about 240 pips a day. So, but it still swing. It just swing larger. Let me see. Hold on.
Bigger swings. Okay.
Yeah, but it's still up and down. Hold on one second. Share screen. 6. Hold on one second. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
So in this little corner right here, this is giving us the range of the swing for the last 30 days. So now instead of it being averaging about 140, the last 30 days it's been about 185. The last 5 days has been about 80. The last 5 days has been about 93, which is smaller swings, of course. So that's
is that overall, or is that a specific pair?
This is one pair.
Which pair is it?
This is the pound yen, the one I was talking about, the one I was making the comparison to.
Okay, how can you, what's telling you that it's the pound yen?
You see right here?
Yeah.
JBP, that's Great British Pound. And behind it say JPY, that's a Japanese yen. So this is a pound yen pair. Well, and then you would compare that to, let's do this one. Here it says USD CHF.
Yes.
This is the dollar Swiss franc.
Awesome. And those letters MS behind it, what does that mean?
It's actually saying M5. So this is the 5-minute chart. So each one of these are called bars. You can also see them in candles and the line. So each one of these distinctions is 5 minutes of time in the market.
Very good. Okay, cool. Speaking the language helps with understanding.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every industry has its own particular language. That's part of one of the things about getting into a space is learning what is the language of that community.
Yes. So you sent the chart that you just showed, the big chart, was one of those that you included in a text message.
Yes. So, I'm sorry. Because I know you add value to your community, I just wanted you to know what was happening in my world that I believe could potentially be value to your community.
Right on.
So, the company, I'm going to show it to you this way first. So this is Basil's back office. He kind of runs the marketing side for our business credit company.
Yes.
And I help run the network marketing side to this project. So I rathered him, and I mean, we work from a partner perspective. I'm a little older, so I take the senior partner spot, right? But I already have this skill set, and I don't have the online marketing skill set. So it didn't make, although this is his company right here, it didn't make sense for me to try to go learn online marketing and him try to learn this space, but I already have this space as a core competency. So he's handling on the marketing side, and I'm letting him talk for himself. So this is the back office of the company, and I'm gonna show you that chart you were asking about. And so we started about a week ago, and Basil we got to the first pay rank in the company, which I'm about to show you. And a friend of mine that's in Australia, which is why this is lit up, because he's in the Australia group building. So you know, network marketing, when you introduce somebody, you get a chance to have an equity position in their growth, right? So that we always have a vested interest in their growth. So that's our partner Mark in Australia. And so both of us got our first check this Monday. Well, it should be out in the mail now. So that's what the back office look like. So when somebody signs up, they end up getting a education platform. There's a company live training that's once a day at the same time. But then our group of entrepreneurs, we have our own training. I told you 3 times across the week, and they get a chance to follow from that perspective. Now, what you were asking about specifically is, this is the company structure. And so you start off as a student, they call it client, but you're really a student, right? Learning the Forex trade, and it's a $99 a month cost. And that's, so you're here, before you even get to what's called founder, you're coming in as a student with the value proposition of the $99 to get what the company is bringing for that value. Then if you choose to recommend it to people, once you have 3 recommendations, which also means you have 3 people in what will be your organization, You're still a student, but you're called a founder. And founders, their tuition, which is the $99, becomes waived once they have their own 3. And then,
Fantastic.
and then through that process, if they choose to keep recommending people and they go to get 10 people in their group inside of a structure of 4 in the left leg, 4 in the right leg, and 4 in the middle leg, and 2 in the right leg, specifically this way, then they actually take you from being just a customer to being part of the business building structure. And that's where Basil is now. And Knight pays $125 a week, which is why I started off with that picture.
Wonderful.
So the thing that caught my attention for this project specifically is, you see how the 3 on this first line doesn't change?
Yes.
So all the way through the compensation plan, you never have to sponsor a 4th person, right? To go all the way up to this is $100,000 a month, which is $25,000 a week. Now the magic to that for somebody like myself is, if I see value in it, it's almost impossible that only 3 people are going to see value too, because I'm the one that, if I care about something, I share it, right? So now the business part kicks in, where when I talk to person 4, instead of me raising my number here to 4, I go inside the organization and although I met the person personally, I let somebody in the group personally sponsor my guy, because it's still inside my group. I don't lose it all. And now they, at the minimum, getting their 3. And then as the time goes on, it's going to end up helping other people push all the way up the comp plan. So with myself and the entrepreneurs that I'm partnered with, what we're focused on doing is, as we talk to more people, because that's our skill set or our passion, we're going inside of our organizations and help turn $99 paying clients over to founders. And the rest of that pushes the whole metric up.
Very cool. Very cool. So the 3 lanes there, the 4, 4, and 2.
Yes.
Can you explain what those are?
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna take it into Basil's back office, and that way you can see it. I know you have a scientist brain, so I like to get to the details of things, so we both can get. No, it's the way to get the clearest understanding, right?
Right on.
So this is what Basil's back office looks like. This is Basil B. Allen. These are his 3, right? So for Basil to get to Knight, it had to be 4 people in this group in total, 4 people in this group in total, and 2 people in this group in total.
Okay. Okay, so each one of the 3 has their own lane, and each one of the first 2 lanes 4, and then 2 in the 3rd lane.
Right. So, right.
Got it.
So what I do when I'm talking to people, explaining to them, and this is the way I treat it for myself, is I look at this as I started 3 different McDonald's, right?
Yes.
So this McDonald's is in California. That's where he lives at. This McDonald's is in Australia. This McDonald's is in Illinois. So, and now that I have the 3 McDonald's purchased or acquired, now my whole purpose in life is to help those 3 McDonald's be successful.
Right on.
So if we partnered up in this project, because you see value for your group, I would still be the person helping them grow. So you wouldn't add a work day for yourself. You would be just making a recommendation, and this is how it would go. You would most likely end up right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna help her get her 3rd person anyway, but I'm working with this guy directly. He's from Nigeria. So he doesn't have his 3. He and I are working right now together. So the next person that I talk to that say, hey, let's go, although I'm gonna still be working with them personally, I'm gonna put them right there to help him get one of his 3, because I gotta do it anyway.
Right on.
Now, and then what happens for somebody like yourself, so my friend here, his name is Namsu. So what happens is, I have a vested interest in your McDonald's growing. Namsu has a vested interest in your McDonald's growing, and my partner Meeks has a vested interest in McDonald's growing on top of whoever came to the company before me. But I take full responsibility for what's going to happen once I got here. So,
Yes.
so as Meeks businesses grow, after she get her 3, right, she's going to look across the rod and she's going to start helping people under her.
Yes.
Now, Enrico, he doesn't have a vested interest in helping over here. He's a different McDonald's.
Right on.
But Namsu does. So if we partnered in this project, what it would look like is you would say, hey guys, we got some extra value because you're already talking to a group of people, right? So that's your first core group, and say, hey, listen, anybody that wanted to add the core competency of trading, my guy Dan Allen, you can bring me on, I'll talk to the team, and then just make it about, we'll package that information, and that way they can not sign up if they don't want to, and if we just raise the level of education and bring more value to your group. Then
yes.
the second thing I see is when you're talking to people, if they don't fit your group right away, you can still send them this way, and you still have them in your contact base to bring them back to your group.
Right on.
That's what I see, at least when I was thinking about you as I looked at it.
Okay. Very cool. And for someone who just comes in,
Yep.
how do they make money? So one of the way is to bring somebody else on board, but what are the options for them to recoup their investment?
Learn how to trade. So,
I love that.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm here, because the product is learn how to fish. And
yes.
So what I have everybody I'm working with do is get a demo account as soon as possible. So it's not real money. It's none of their subconscious programming kicks in when it's not real money, right?
Yeah.
So the broker we're using has a $5,000 demo account. So what we're working for people to do is not just be only network marketers recruiting people. That's not the game plan for me here. I wouldn't have been here if that was the game. Because I mean that's any other company, right? I'm really passionate about people learning how. So Basil's grandmother, my mother, she hasn't worked since 2017 and won't work again. And the main part of it is because of what Basil and I are doing in the marketplace. So some people not only can't take care of somebody else, they can't take care of themselves.
Right.
So they don't know how to fish.
Right.
So the game plan, especially because I know you're all about financial empowerment, is having them plug into the system of watching the coaches trade while there's 4 types of knowledges, right? So I'm gonna take this off for a second, so that way it's just us. But I'll come right back to it if we need to. So I train people. You've heard me do training calls and all of the like, right? So there's 4 types of knowledges that a person goes through. The first knowledge is called learned knowledge, reading, watching videos. A lot of times when me and Basil, we'll take audio books instead of sitting reading a book. Well, we read your book because it was you, right? But we dissect stuff. The books that used to be, we sit down and knock out, I'll sit on YouTube on it now and we'll listen to the book. But that's still learned knowledge, taking in information inside your 5 senses, right?
Yes.
The second knowledge, which then progresses, gives you a deeper understanding, is activity knowledge. The third knowledge, which gives you a deeper understanding, is modeling knowledge. You finding a mentor and follow what that mentor is doing. And the fourth knowledge is teaching knowledge, which means you can articulate it back to somebody else. So when I looked at this project, what I saw was in the $5 trillion daily industry, right? Because the Forex market moves $5 trillion a day, where the stock market is in the double digits of the billions. So it's a whole different game plan, whole different model. But just the way I see business, right, is that when I looked at this project, it was going to have put people in the learned knowledge space, because we have the part where it has the education. So they're taking the information any way they need to. Then, because of the demo account, they put them straight into activity knowledge, because they're making trades without any of the fear that comes from being new to something.
Yes.
So I had a different view looking at it than I think the average person. Then the third was because they already had the mentors in place and I didn't have to be it. They then get modeling knowledge right away.
Yes.
So we got learned knowledge, activity knowledge, and modeling knowledge from day one, and you get a chance to stay in a risk-free environment until you say, no, this is too easy. No. All I got to do is follow. So I say, don't take the trade the coach is doing, but watch him do it. And the minute you feel confident that he know what he's talking about, match what he's doing.
Yes.
Right? So the company has trade alerts too. That's another value proposition, right? But if you don't know anything about trading, the trade alert won't help you anyway, right? You don't have a place to trade. But you can model, you can, like you said, what's the GB? Like, you don't know if you watch 15 videos or 15 training calls, you're going to start to see that the USD, so hold on. 1 second. Is that making sense to you?
It does. Totally tracking.
So I come from the E quadrant, right? I come as an employee. My mom was an employee. My son been watching me do business as well. But growing up, everybody in my space is an employee. So I have a passion for that community. But I know staying in that community, it has a timing mechanism to it where it's a dummy's bet. At some point, you're going to not be able to do what you were doing. And then at that point, you're going to still need the same income you had when you were doing it. So in any type of scenario, that's where your business has so much value in the marketplace, because you're helping people shift their thinking while they're still in the E quadrant, getting ready. And you still speak from that same place like, hey, I was just like you. So
exactly.
Now, if you watch me do this 15 days in a row, you're at least going to know that the USD CAD is the dollar CAD.
Right on.
If nothing else.
Yep.
So I make sure I give the same respect to the I quadrant side of the conversation, which is the trading, as I do to the B quadrant side, which is helping care enough about somebody else to let them know about the value in your life. But as I meet the person, they'll tell me which one is more valuable to them, and I'll help them where they are.
Right on.
So for $99, you get to hire me as a value builder in your community in this specific project. And then the people that share that value, you end up building another income stream for yourself and add more value in your organization.
Right on.
And you probably couldn't hire me for $99 if we had to make another arrangement, which is the part that's valuable to me, because I can now. So me and my partner in Australia, we was trying to get to terms, right? He has some capital that he is in charge of, right? He's a steward of capital, and I trade, right? So we couldn't come to terms because we're having a business conversation, and I know my value, right?
Yeah.
So to his point, very, very, very good point. Dan, I'm gonna put $1 million behind you. You can go get it. Makes sense. They wanted to pay me 20%. My brain, I know that if I do this trading, you guys are going to make a couple 100% return on investment annually. I know that investors, we map out ROI on an annual basis. Even if you got 1 day of profit, you extract it out to know what your ROI is. So I said, friend, I'm not a trader, although I know how to trade. I'm a banker. So you want me to work for 20%? It sounds like a big number, but I wouldn't take an investor and get them 300%, 400% return, and I'm making 20%. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
And he said, well, yours is really an infinite return because you don't have any money in. Absolutely right. However, I know what I'm making you.
Right
So
on.
we need to make my compensation based off of what I'm bringing to what pie I'm building. So we never got a chance that we actually didn't move forward because we couldn't get to the right number, right? But here, the comp plan is going to pay me for adding my value, for talking, for caring about people. So that's what catches my attention. Now, I still want to make sure we talk about the book because Basil was excited about getting it done. And as much as I hopefully teach them, I'm only one voice, and nobody learns from only one voice.
Yes. So let's start with a couple questions. One is for each of you, what was the most significant learning that you got from the book? Your most significant.
I'm gonna give it to Basil first.
Okay, that's a good question. I should have been ready for it, but the biggest takeaway from the book I received would have to be just simply seeing it reiterated that systems. This Mr. Dev too, but this is
Hold on. Answer that.
Hold on one
Hold
second.
on 1 second, Curtis. There's one of our business partners and
Hello. Hey, Mr. Dev, how's it going? I'm with my father right now, but we should be finishing up the Zoom call momentarily, and then I'm pretty free after that. Okay. Okay, no problem. Gotcha. No problem.
So in business cell, when your business partner call you, especially if you're the junior partner and it's your senior partner, take the call. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm just in any business setting. Just hold on 1 second, and then just what you did, and then everybody's got to understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's very important.
And I'm good with it. I'm good with you putting me on hold for a moment.
I appreciate it.
Now, the other side, the only other thing to suggest there is put the Zoom call on hold so they don't hear the other part of the conversation.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. And even take out your picture like you did with the going to get the green. That's great. Nobody learns from one voice. Exactly. So, Sil, you said that the book was telling you about systems.
Yeah, so I believe we hear things multiple times in our life, and it's just up to us to take it in and hold it. And God gives it to us a lot of times, a lot of different ways. And I'm the type of person that believes that you don't have to get things a lot of different times, a lot of different ways if you don't choose to. So when I saw that you were reiterating that fact for me, just with even at the end with the system of writing down things to manifest them, and every end of the chapter, I was able to not reflect because I'm drawing it and writing it. So basically show the brain and reteach it while writing it. So just some of the strategies that you had, with saving your money. My father taught me that a lot, but I just appreciate the packaging of the book, and because I've heard like a lot of these terms and what needs to happen and how to increase your money, but I appreciate, like I said, the packaging and the design because it helped me see visually how to save money and where I was messing up at.
Wow, that was huge.
Right.
Wow. You get the importance of retraining the brain.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Wow. I'll just tell you this now. There's a training that follows the book. It's called Money Smart Intensive.
I'm right
and
there.
I do a 1 day, 2 day, and a 3 day version of it.
Okay.
And it unpacks how to train the brain. It unpacks why you have to be diligent about training it. And it goes back to the generational curse. Have I shared with you guys the generational curse?
Just go ahead and share it. Just give it to us again. Don't even pause. Just keep going. We all tuned in.
Financial illiteracy is a generational curse. And that it's taught generation after generation after generation. We learn by the time we're 12 years old, we know how we're going to manage our money. We already know whether we're going to be in poverty or we're going to be wealthy. We just don't, you may not be conscious of it, but what you learn between 0 and 12 has set the tone for it. And if you don't learn the kind of things, so learning the kind of things that Dan has been pursuing in his life, like MLM, Forex, building a business, those are the things that I didn't know about growing up.
Mm.
So my 0 to 12 was destined for living paycheck to paycheck and being deep in debt.
Right.
And then I started learning some new things that created wealth.
Right.
So you're on that journey, and you are blessed to be on that journey, because 80+% of people never get off the poverty train because they don't have people around them that are teaching them something different. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So the biblical scriptures, there's a scripture in Proverbs that says, teach a child the way they should go when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're older, they won't depart from it.
That one, and if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Keep preaching.
and so then there's a scripture in the New Testament says, renew your mind.
Mm.
Right? So the way to get off the poverty train is to renew your mind. And renewing your mind really means learning something new. And fundamentally, that's what I do with Money Smart Intensive, is I help people understand why they do what they do.
Mm.
And then I teach them something new, and I help them to understand how to apply it. So in the book, everything in that book is so intentional and sequenced intentionally.
Right.
And you picked up on it. I mean, it's just awesome that you picked up on the intentions in that book and how I reinforced the new learnings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I really appreciate that. And like you said, it was part of my blessed upbringing just to be able to identify that. But like you said, it's just part of our cultural curse that just isn't there for 80+% of us. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that input and, the feedback, and I plan on getting right on top of the Money Smart Incentives as well. So just adding value, like you said.
Absolutely. And one thing I would like for us to do is let's have a focused conversation about Money Smart Intensive and how it can apply for, how you can use it, and how to get in it. So let's do a follow-up conversation on that so that we can take you to the next level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, wholesale. Do me a favor, Curtis. Give Sil the price point, right? Because one of the things we got to do this year is mitigate his taxes.
Yes.
So the year do what we expected to do, he should do a 6-figure year, and we'll put Money Intensive just so he can have the experience, so y'all can build your own relationship. Hopefully he'll be calling you Uncle Curtis in the next 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
That way we can
Absolutely.
we can schedule it and base it off of what's going to be his tax liability, and then make it a write-off for who he's going to be. So we like part of the conversation he and I are starting to have now is every dollar isn't yours, right? So and Caesar, which some people call Uncle Sam, and when I'm teaching him, we use the word Caesar because the Bible said, "Give to Caesar what is his, give to the Lord what is his," right? So that's how we interact with our central bank government structure. Is just Caesar, right? It's a Caesar here, Caesar in Japan. So me being a global interactor, I see more than one Caesar, right?
Right on.
So in our relationship with our Caesar, it's a partnership when you understand it. If you don't understand it, it's it can also be indentured servitude. you pick the relationship, right? Which is going from the E quadrant to that stuff. So Basil his foot is firmly in the B quadrant, right?
Yes.
What we got going on with the business credit company gets him kind of in the I quadrant because he's handling loans. He sells money, right? So inside of that, our conversations never take your eye off of that you have a business partnership with Caesar. You're no longer an indentured servant, but you're a junior partner, and that partnership is rules. So a mentor of mine, still, he showed us $1 million business, And he said this $1 million business is really a $600,000 business because the other 400,000 go to Caesar. He
Right
didn't
on.
use Caesar, but that's my term. So now the thing is, if you don't do any proper planning, Caesar take that whole 400 because you were ignorant to the rules of that game.
Mm.
So what Caesar allows you to do is take that 400,000 and use it in certain ways, and education is one of those ways. So for us, his 100,000 year, at least this year, has a $40,000 Caesar ticket on it, and so when the money shows up the way it needs to, he's definitely he just I wasn't gonna put that on him, but he showed interest to taking the money extensive. So I need the number. I mean, so we can put it in where it fits at.
Right on. Right on. And to complement what you just shared there, and which was really powerful, is that Caesar has different rules for all the 4 quadrants.
1,000%.
Right. And some quadrants he's a lot more generous than others.
The partners.
The employee quadrant, he's the most harsh with.
You're an indentured servant. Absolutely. It's a different relationship.
You'll pay the 40% if you're in the employee quadrant.
Right. 1,000%.
In the investment quadrant, he gives you a lot more latitude. In the business quadrant, he gives you a lot more latitude. On the business and the investor side, that 40% can go way, way down for you.
Mm.
On the business and the self-employed side, it has very little latitude to move.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we cover much of that in Money Smart Intensive, and making it real for you, right? We show you some examples of how that works and give you, there it is. Yes, this is very powerful. And so the left-hand side gets the most significant tax and the least amount of deductions or offsets. The business and the investor, they get all the breaks. Right on. This is good. Hey Dan, what was your most significant?
Absolutely. I mean, let me take the share off so that way. 1 second. So that way we can be back talking.
Okay.
To be honest, nothing from the content was new for me, right? But you and I speak the same language, which is great. The biggest takeaway for me from the book is that you didn't posture yourself as the authority. You went to be, I'm not going to lead you. I'm going to come right next to you and I'm going to walk with you.
Right on.
So, and the content, you definitely prove yourself as the authority or the mentor or the teacher. Back to his 4 stages of knowledge. So you definitely wasn't teaching, knowledge sharing, helping people get into their 3rd stage of knowledge, which is modeling, right? So because you didn't just give out information so we just learn knowledge. You put things in place that they can do and encourage them and challenge them to do it so they can model behind, and you even gave your answers. And so, but the biggest part for me is that a lot of things I read when a person wants to get an audience and you even taught it to become the authority. So they listen to you. But your style of communicating was, hey, listen, I was just here. I'm leaving some breadcrumbs. And matter of fact, when they left the breadcrumbs, the birds came and ate them. So I'm leaving some rock crumbs so that way you can follow what I did to get to what I had. I was in debt. It was bad for me. My 0 to 12, I don't think you phrased it that is, but my childhood was like most of your childhoods. I was headed and I had a pattern interrupt. So you more was giving your testimony and just saying, if you can just resonate with what I'm saying to you, we can be at the same place, even if it isn't at the same time. So that's the part I read the compassion in your presentation.
Wow.
I communicate a little different, right? I same information though. I say, listen, this is what I found to be true. If it's for you, take it. If it ain't for you, ignore it. So I'm a take it or leave it person if I'm talking, unless I'm in coach mode, right? But when I write, I'm not in coach mode. Like I write like I'm writing to my sons.
Yes.
I write like, listen, here go the play. You know I wouldn't tell you if I didn't already know. I'm not guessing. If you don't already see how I see it, you haven't been through enough yet. So I tell Basil to catch up to his notes. I'm going to give it to you now. Make sure you know that it's me the one telling you. So check the source. And if you don't see how I see it, you the one tripping. And that's so at times, and as he's grown, right? Because he's a smart guy, I leave room for a lot of kickback because I'm challenging you all the time. I really no nurturing at all in my presentation. I'm giving it to you concentrated. You got to get it.
Right on.
It's going to be there the whole time, but it's on you to get it. I got to keep going to get the next thing I got to get, so I give you something else when I get it. What I saw you do is say, listen, I was just like you. I didn't see a way out, and then I had this pattern interrupt. And then I followed what that thing was showing me. And this is what I got out of it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're holding a person's hand, saying, I know the room is dark. Come on, I know which way the light is. That's my major takeaway. But that's who you are too, because we talk. So you were being your true self in there. You wasn't trying to be Mr. Banks to get a following.
Right on. Wow. I love that, Dan. Wow, I just what you just said holds true.
Right. Thank you.
And let me share with you how I internalize what you just said and how it manifests itself into my program.
Perfect.
So what you just said, the holding, sharing, and then holding a person's hand and walking them through. I learned that it's important to not just give people education. The education is important, but the next part of it is we do the 1 day or 2 day training, but we then have 3 months of implementation boot camp.
Right.
Which every other week we're working with you to implement what you learned. So you read the book, you take the course, and then we walk with you. Because what you learned over the many years prior to, it's going to take some renewing of the mind.
Right.
That doesn't happen in a 30-minute conversation.
Right, absolutely.
So we do have the hand holding for 3 months. And then I have following that the mentoring, the monthly mentor, which for 3 months after that, a person gets to attend and have more mentoring. And then I also have an offering that is a one-on-one mentoring that can span the entire 6-month period, where not only do you get to participate in the other parts, but you get one-on-one. So we can work on things that are specific to you in a more private setting. So you nailed it, right? It's about how do you help a person transform, and you don't do that by just saying read the book and transform. And it takes so much longer. With the way that we design the education and the mentoring, the implementation boot camp and the mentoring, you put in the effort, you do the work, and you're guaranteed a transformation. Right. It's just that straightforward. So you just nailed it. Thank you so much. Wow.
So with that, let me tell on myself, okay?
Okay.
I know my son.
Yes.
Personality type, I'm the worst type of teacher for him. I'm the worst type for him to take in information. So the way you teach is the best, I think, for him, because y'all can have a mutual meeting of the minds and you actually take the time to find out where he is.
Yes.
And y'all together go to where he wants to be. I don't got the time for it. I'm a dad, right? So I'm not a teacher, right? So this is what it is. You know I wouldn't tell you nothing wrong. I need you to get this. And then I answer questions if you need it. But so it's not the challenge now because he's so confident in what he do know that we can have the conversation we got to have. And there's still in my pace though, right?
Yes.
Like I'll say something that may be stern. And so instead of him being irritated, if he was 10 years younger, he now speaks his truth to my sternness. And then we find our space in there. So right I think he's going to have fun adding another voice because he knows what he knows. He knows I'm a resource, but I already know that I'm not. his best cup of tea.
Well, and Dan, there's another aspect to this that's really important. You are a teacher, and you're a good teacher.
Right. When I'm
Now,
in coach mode.
But you guys have a parental relationship.
Right. Exactly.
And there are natural barriers with the parental relationship.
1000%.
There, right? And here's another biblical scripture that describes this. And by the way, I work with my kids too. And I have to be really careful about how I interact with them because of that parental relationship. I have stood next to my daughter and one of my friends, and I shared something with my daughter. And then within 4 minutes later, she just kind of didn't absorb it.
Right.
And about 4 minutes later, my friend said the same thing, and she says, "Wow, what a great idea!"
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the nature of it. So in the scriptures, Christ says that a prophet in his hometown is not a prophet.
1000%. Yeah.
Right? Because even he had to go to somewhere else because his parents were carpenters. His dad was a carpenter, right?
Right.
And his whole town knew his dad as a carpenter. So that made him a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And carpenters are not prophets. Everybody knows that. So they're not listening in his own hometown. So your hometown is your parents, right? And some people close to you.
Right.
There are certain things you're willing to hear from them. And there are certain things you're not willing to hear from them.
1000%.
It's just a natural thing. And I think the two of you, though, have come so far.
He's awesome.
Right? You're way more advanced in your relationship in a business setting than most parents and children are.
That's because he's amazing at the end of the day because he learned how to go, okay, this is my dad, and I've proven myself enough to be credible, but
Yes.
he allows me to be me, and I don't gotta sugarcoat it for him. But I know I'm not giving it to him the best way he needs it. Then I know that when I'm saying it, he doesn't like the way I just said it.
Right on.
But I need him to let me still be me, which he does, and that's how we get so much done. So he just go, let me just let this dude say how you gonna say it. I'm gonna take what I need, and but I know that the way you give information, and I mean, he just talked to my other brother, Dev, who's his other partner. So what I'm doing now is, because I know he has a strong enough foundation, I'm releasing him to the marketplace for the people I trust, so that way he can now get his own personality being felt in those different settings.
Right
on.
on.
Just another one of those. Now, to be 100% honest with you, because we're locking down the marketing, the Mastermind Intensive will get budgeted in after we get our marketing stuff, because we're going to go get mentorship there. And then, but it's going to be inside of our budget either which way, because I know y'all going to hit it off.
Right on. Thank you. I love that. I love that. So here's I have a couple suggestions, right? And I have a suggestion for both directions. Seal, it'd be great if I'll send you if you'd send me a text with your email and phone number.
Okay.
And then I'll send you a link to my calendar, and we will do a strategy call.
Okay.
And in that strategy call, we're going to do a couple things. One, we're going to explore a little bit about, we're going to do a vision session, and we're going to explore a little bit about what you see your future as, right?
Okay.
And then that will help me to understand what and how I should shape the program for you.
Okay, that makes sense.
And okay, so great. Any questions for you so far?
No, I just gonna get your number from my dad. I may have it already. I probably do, and then most likely, and then I was just locking that calendar time for you. I appreciate the wisdom and your time.
And my phone number, I just put it in the chat window.
Let me double check. 428.
So you got the light in your back again. Turn it on again. 428. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I just put 3 ways to connect with me. One is my phone number, then my email, and then curtisbanks360.com. And if all else fails, you can go to curtisbanks360.com and you can schedule from there, and you can also text me from there. And then you can also download all my contact information directly into your phone.
Now, Curtis, I know I know that the Bible says don't be a respecter of persons, but I need you to, I know you got clients all over the world. I need you to know that's my son. I need you to look out for him. I mean, talk to him like an uncle. You know what I mean? Not just a coach mentor. You know, like, it's the family setting where, again, he thrives the most in.
Right on. That's the part that comes out of me naturally.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I said it.
Yes, I love that. No,
I know we're doing commerce now, but it's my brother. I'm bringing my son to my brother. Is how I'm seeing it.
Right on.
Okay. Yeah.
Right on. And so let me share with you the other part too, Dan. And I totally follow what you're saying, and that naturally comes from me. And Seal, you're going to get that.
That's it.
Absolutely, you're going to get that. My youngest daughter and son they work with me too.
Right.
And I had to nurture to get them there. And my 2 oldest that are not in this business yet, and they're coming, and I'm working with them. And so this is how that generational curse tends to work, right? When my oldest kids were coming along, I didn't know what I know now.
Right.
When the youngest ones came around, I had pivoted. My interrupt had happened. My mindset interrupt, my pattern interrupt had happened. And now I see the world differently. And so I interact with them differently. And my interaction with them early in life for them was different than the older kids. And so I've learned how to make those adjustments, and it's powerful.
He's the older kid. So the pre-personal development.
Yes.
I started to be his dad at 18. So he got a chance to, every concept you got to brush up against reality.
Yes.
We lived through that together.
Right on.
So when he watched me deal with the other kids and the grandkids, he'd be looking a lot of times. This is what he said to his brother. Yo, you tripping, and dad ain't even doing what dad do. I don't know what you're doing with yourself. You need to stop.
I love that.
Yeah. So I had like a little nephew type. He one of the grandkids' ages, right? He was over at the house. And so for 2 stories real quick. His oldest son, the first grandson, he's like me, where he tests every boundary and then tests that boundary's boundary.
Yes.
I call it seeing if the stove is hot. He always sees if the stove is hot, right? So I tell him to do so. I think I say, listen, it's time to go. And he just kind of keeps on doing what he's doing, right? So I say, I know where you hang at, because you're not always with us. When I'm telling you something, I'm not negotiating with you. It's time to go, put the food up. So because he was joking around, he hadn't finished eating, right? So I just told him that I'm not playing with him. So what he do is, hurry up and keep eating, hurry up. Like I did just say, it's time to go. So I doubled down and said, see what you just did right there? I told you to stop, and you kept going anyway. I'm never going to double talk you again. I'm going to tell you one time, now we're going to dance.
Right.
So that same day, we go to the chess tournament, right? My 9-year-old had a chess tournament, all of us went to support him. So I still has 2 sons, a 7-year-old, Brian, who I'm talking about, and then he has a 5-year-old, Caleb, right? So they start the horse playing in the gym, right? In the place. So I tell both of them, listen, y'all doing too much. Stop wrestling. About 2 hours later, they get to start to wrestle a little bit, and Caleb see me, so he stopped. The 5-year-old just stopped. The 7-year-old just keep going because he's in his motions. So I sneak up behind him and give him a body shot. Boom. So of course it's soft, but he's 7. So he feels the hit and drops on the ground in front of all these people, and he looking and he go, oh. So he goes sit down, right?
Right.
And the 5-year-old like, Pop told you. So that's it. I don't scold him. We don't have a whole talk about it. Once he dropped on the ground and looked up, his brain kicked in that this is what he was talking about.
Right.
So now, me and him have a good relationship because he like to see if the stove is hot, and I show him that the stove is hot.
Yeah.
Perfect, right? So now we're at the house, and my nephew is over, and he is about their age. And the day is over. We're about to take him home. They had all the fun. And so we're calling them, and for whatever reason, this guy ignores me. Like, he's like, I'm watching TV. I'm just not acknowledging your presence. And I don't know if they get it because they hang with their mom so much. So I call him again. He still ignores me. But I'm not Pop. I'm cool Uncle Danny, right? So I throw aspirin, the little aspirin bottles, the plastic ones. So I throw it at him soft, and he looked at me like I was bothering him.
Too much.
Like he gave me a face like, what did you do that for? So my 7-year-old is watching, which is his son. He was like, so I bounce off the chair, grip him up, slam him on the couch, and punch him in the shoulder. So now he's crying, and I said, so now I start scolding him, so I'm talking tough to him, because he gave me, we both grown men looks.
Right,
So
exactly.
I showed him what that looked like. So his whole world is devastated, and the 7-year-old is like this. But the 5-year-old was like, that's how that go. So I forget why I told you the stories, but he was my oldest, so all of my growing, he had to grow with me.
I love this, man, because I grew up. I was born in Greensboro, Alabama, in the South, and when I was growing up, paddling in schools happened.
Oh yeah.
When you were at home and you did something wrong, you got corrected.
Right.
You were over at the neighbor's house, you did something wrong, they corrected you.
Right.
The community corrected you. You knew what you were supposed to be doing, and anybody that you did the wrong thing around, they didn't accept it. They'd stop you and whoa, wait a minute. They correct you. So what you were just explaining just brought back those memories. It's so important to understand boundaries and respect for elders. So important.
I beat up my 17-year-old nephew because he was disrespecting my uncle. I said, hold on, he's 60. He already been a wolf. He off duty. I'm gonna need you to calm down because that's my uncle. It's his uncle too, but if you don't respect it because he's 60, I'm gonna show you to respect it because I'm right here. And so I beat up his little. So either way, we definitely do corporal punishment on my side of the world.
And it pays off.
I mean, 1,000%. I'm trying to save their life.
Right on. And by the way, I've had my share of that personally as I was growing up.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. Hey Dan, so for you and I, next steps, let me share. I am putting together. I'm adding to my partnerships and joint ventures.
Right.
And so I have in the book you saw there are 4 fundamental strategies: increase your earning potential, keep more of the money you make, grow the money you keep, and protect. Right. So those 4 fundamentals, and what you described fits 2.
Right.
1 is grow your earning potential, and 2, increase your earning potential is 1, and then 2, grow the money you keep.
Right.
And so I'd like to develop out more of what it looks like if I were to say, I got a group of people in my classroom.
Right.
And I'm in the implementation boot camp, right? So now they're with me for 3 months, and I'm showing them how to how to apply these strategies and to go deeper into making it the system a part of their lifestyle.
Right.
So I want to introduce them to Forex in a
Right.
way that they can increase their earning potential, in a way that they can grow the money they keep.
Right.
So understanding how that work and how I could present that in, say, 15 to 20 minutes,
Got it.
and to be able to enroll them.
Got it.
Make sense?
Got it. Got it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a great fit, because this is what they don't learn about in school. This is what they won't learn about in college. They'll hear about it, but they won't learn enough about it to actually do anything with it.
I have a partner that works at JP Morgan as an investment banker.
Yes.
He was over about I don't want to exaggerate, so I'm gonna stop at 2. He was over $2 billion of family offices and company, and a high net worth individual's money, making sure that it was getting at least really a 4% return, but they were comfortable with 3%, right, annually. And so we were just in Indianapolis over the last week, and he's watching me trade, and I'm helping people with the network marketing side, because this is where my inside coach comes out. I have all the patience in the world when we're in network marketing. And then we step out of that, we're talking business, right? So he's watching me in Coach Allen mode, right? And he started to say that even in an investment banking side of the world, you learn a certain discipline in the investment banking.
Right on.
So he's sort of Forex traders, but they were over there. So he knew what it was on a high level.
Yes.
Right? At JP Morgan, did some stuff at Goldman Sachs too, but he didn't know it. So when I was sitting there, because I'm explaining like some of the stuff that like, not the pairs, but we were talking trading, and I was explaining what was going on the chart and why I did what I did, and so we're having a very financial literate conversation, but I'm looking at he don't already know it. So if you take from the highest financial kind of plateau, which is investment banking, and go that we're still coming back, like you said, from generational curses, that's one of the reasons why I tackled this industry the way I did, because I wanted to add to where he probably won't do Forex, right? But he has a brother that's 14, that's Jabir. He will probably do Forex. And so what I did was, back to your point, when I was younger, nobody in my direct family boxed, right? Nope, my uncle played chess. So I added boxing, so that way not only would it be mine, it would be in my tribe's lineage moving forward.
Yes.
I've been kind of building my storyline as I take things on, so that way I can get a level of mastery to it, so I can add it into our family storyline. So from the perspective that you want to do, if whenever you need me, I can come into this setting for that 15-minute time, maybe the interview process, maybe even from the standpoint of building the value of Forex, right? What I would suggest that you at least consider is making the membership here a part of whatever the intensive process is, right? So the cost is $99 a month until we help them get their 3. So we got 2 ways to tackle that from a business perspective, me and you, right?
Yes.
Talking. Either you add that as a new cost for them, and then we help them build out that part, or you add that into their tuition with you anyway, and then we help them get their 3, so then you stop eating the 99 already. Does that make sense?
Right. I love that, Dan. I absolutely love that.
And then that way, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That way, you can bring me on as kind of like one of the coaches, the Forex coach, and then I'll show Tradera as the platform where they can do their learn knowledge.
Yes.
Separating the 4 knowledges, right? And then I'll step in at my knowledge to come help them through that process. So then that way, and again, all we're choosing is whether they got to pay the extra $99 a month today because they might not build a network marketing side, right? They'll hear about it because they'll be in, right? But they can come in from a purely trading perspective, get their spots, and then when they go, hey, is an MLM attached to it? They're already in. They was already covered. It's already built out, and then I'll help them learn the currency stuff directly as they plug into the information from Tradera.
Right on.
So you
So
go ahead.
I really love that. So what would be good for me is if you could model out what these options are.
Okay.
And I like the idea of you coming in and presenting as well.
Right.
Right.
Now, I would end up being your full-time little coach from the Forex side, and because it's me and you, if you have a live event, I'll come.
Yes.
You know, and I'll come help talk, and we can kind of do that whole thing, because this is the part that I get to pour my whole helping people into.
Yes.
So, and because we already got a comp plan attached to it, when we talking to the person, we never got to talk money. We just talk about loving on them.
Right on. Right on. I love this. And so if we can let's do this. Let's create a time and space where if you'll model out what those options are.
I'm gonna make a PowerPoint. I'm gonna work on it in the PowerPoint. Right.
I love that. You're speaking my language, Dan.
Right.
PowerPoint.
I told you we talk the same language. I'm the core side of the thing. You're the fine side. However you get rubbed on.
Right on. And so the visual helps me, and so let's schedule some follow-up time.
Okay.
To look at the options for the model.
Right.
And I'll walk you through the 4 strategies and how I approach them.
Okay.
And then the overall program. So how the education, then the mentoring, and then the tools and strategies. And then there may be some opportunities to tweak the tools and strategies that are available.
Right.
And then the content. So we have, and so you'll see this in that we have a collaboration environment where I put, for example, for the boot camp sessions, we record them, and then we put content relative to that session, and then all of my tools and strategies are in that collaboration environment. And we can put content out there for the strategies that are related to strategies. I'm not putting those out there today. For example, I just recently worked with Randy to create a certified partner relationship.
Okay, perfect.
Where now I have the links for their platforms that I can offer to
right.
my clients. And
right.
then Randy's also assigned one of his senior people to me to be able to, when we sign somebody up, then I have a conversation with him and then introduce them, and he gets them started.
Right. He's the same. That's what I see. That's what I see in your, because if I'm sitting in your spot for a second, I'm bringing in people from a bettering your financial IQ perspective. And like I told you, they still had to have another way to increase their income, which we already acknowledged. So now you get a chance to kind of have a mutual fund or a choose which ride you want to get on perspective, and now have yourself set up every which way. Which is exact. That way you can say, hey, listen, if you, Mondays we talk to the Forex guy as far as introductions, you pick which lane is going to be most suitable for you. And then you got people that's going to see, I have nothing to upsell them to, right? I got nothing to turn their attention away from. I'm just the Forex guy, right? So when you give them to me, they just get my value, and there's no back door for me to show them, then I come join this.
Right on.
So that's that. And now in that, back to sequencing, Basil has 2 books that we have to just get finished up. He's going to be the author of 2 books in the business credit space. You know, we own a business credit funding company. So as you have me on this side with the Forex, although I have a competency with business credit and funding, you don't want to overbrand people. So you can actually brand this young lion as your business credit / blah, blah, blah. So you can actually have this conversation is giving you 2 new value propositions for your audience.
Right on. I love this. I know a number of people who come through my program that have businesses, and business credit would be something that would be of value to them.
Right. And we have some pre-recorded white label videos that talk about it. So you can actually get Basil on the webinar. He can use my link, right? Or we'll make up another one or whatever. and or you can make him a host so that way he can share his screen or whatever, and you can actually, he can introduce himself, say 20 seconds about the company, and then play a video that's going to build the value for business credit.
Yes.
So our net on selling a back to this is my son when you on the marketing side. So I want you to get your value on the intensive, but I would rather he get a tuition assistance on the intensive, and then you get a piece of the sales on the funding, the finance suite. Does that make sense?
I understand.
Right. So
Yep.
where he comes into the group, get whatever value he's going to get, and we net $1,000 every time we sell a finance suite. That's our net. Our split and the net is Basil keeps 400, right? And the company keeps 600, so we can keep reinvesting. So my thought process would be to get you on 200 of each finance suite that's sold in your community, and Basil doesn't pay for the what's the name of the course, Basil? Mastermind, the intensive.
Yeah, smart intensive.
Is that way y'all coming in as partners, and then he's taking the intensive so that way he can be all the way
How's it going?
up to speed with
Ken, 1 second. Can I head out to meet him now?
let me call him. Tell him I'm calling right now.
1 second. My dad's gonna give you a call, Mr. Dad. I'm still in the webcam. We're on like a meeting webinar, but he's calling you right now. All right.
Give me 1 second, Kurt. I want to make sure he do it, but I also like he calling Basil at the last minute. Like I'd rather you respect his calendar. What's going on, brother? Tell me what the out of 1 out of 10 with the urgency that you're needing for, so I can help gauge, because this is kind of was on my calendar for him, and so if you need him as a 10, is you, I'm gonna pull rank, I'll let you pull rank, but if it's a 4, I need another 20 minutes. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. You told me 10. Go ahead, Basil. All right, all right. All right, he's on his way.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Dan, I do need to start winding up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got your message. I understand. Well, here's what I want to do. I'm going to work something really, really sweet for Sil on the Money Smart Intensive.
Okay.
But what I'd like to do, though, is let each one of the business opportunities stand on their own.
Okay.
I'm going to work something really good for him on the course side.
Perfect.
But we have to look at each one of the business opportunities and evaluate it. So, for example, we're going to look at Forex, right? We're going to put together something that works in there,
right? And
we're going to do the same thing on the business
funding, right? Exactly.
Does that make sense?
1,000%.
Right on. Because he's going to get tremendous value out of this, and because I know you, and because we're going to do something really sweet for him.
Okay, perfect. I recorded this so that way we could have it until he can use it to relook at it. I'm going to send it to you as soon as it finishes uploading, so you can have it as well to reflect on it and whatever else. Cause I know you like to get into the information the same way I do, right?
Yes.
So again, we speak the same language. We just have a slightly different delivery, which is perfect because now it's multitude of voices.
Right on. So what I got out of the session today is I see an opportunity. I see 3 opportunities here.
Okay.
One is for sale on Money Smart Intensive.
Right.
2 is Forex.
Right.
And as an offering to my clients for strategies 1, which is increasing earning potential.
Right.
And strategy number 3, which is grow the money you keep.
Okay. Absolutely. I agree.
Okay, and then on the business funding and credit,
right,
is another opportunity to offer to clients and people who may not even be clients.
Right, and it actually gives you a lead to people that's not already a client as another value proposition as you come back in, and then that's why I wanted to make a distinction on we don't have another offering to offer people. So when we talk to people, everybody in your world is at the end of the day going to end up talking to you about what you bring to the table.
Right on, right on. And so I see an opportunity on the business funding and credit where there are people that I meet that are in business, and my strategy is to get to know them and understand where their opportunities are, what they need, and if what I'm offering doesn't fit, I don't attempt to force fit it.
1,000%.
However, when I hear someone who could use some funding, I have a business partner that I collaborate with that I know, love, and trust that I'm willing to refer them to.
Right. Another tool in your tool belt.
Right on. Right on.
Perfect.
And so I've been building out my joint venture partner relationships. And so having the core content around Forex and having the core content around the business funding so that I can have it accessible to me on my phone, where when I meet somebody, I can send a message out right now and say, I want to introduce you to Sil, or introduce you to Dan. And so, for example, if I'm talking Forex and it's not one of my clients, I want to be able to send a text message or an email and introduce the two of you right there on the spot.
Right. Perfect.
Right. So it's more than just for my clients, but I think for something like these areas, there are people who are not my clients that could use it, and I'm certainly willing to make those connections.
Right. Well, for the especially, well, like I said, I'm gonna put you on the equity side with the people that are coming through you on the finance suite. That just makes sense to me. And on the Tradera side, they're all going to your organization, so it's another income stream both ways.
Right on. I love that.
So
okay.
I think I'll work on a PowerPoint just so we can. That's the way I document stuff from pictorial perspective, and then I'll get that over to you, and then we can set up a time to meet after that. And right now, as soon as this finished uploaded, I'll send it over to you via email.
Wonderful, Dan. Thank you. You are awesome, my friend.
I look forward to it. Please tell the wife I said hello.
I sure will, and you do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to coming down to Dallas to hang out with you.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Take care, Dan.
All right, my friend. Be well.
All right. Bye-bye.